Hi, how we all doing? Welcome to the AFL off-season live list management trades draft news daily. It's taken me 6 days. I've changed the title to daily from weekly. That is how mental it has been. And we've had a mental day today. We've got our live stream tomorrow, 5 from 7. We'll have some special guests. We'll take you through it all. So it's probably going to run about 5 till probably 8 because I talk a lot of crap. So that'll be fun. So what we'll do tomorrow is we'll go through the lists. We'll look at what everyone's done, a finalised trade period, and then we can really look at getting to the draft content. Then you've got a load of pre-recorded stuff. You know what, though? I'm actually quite sad because this is probably like one of the last times we'll spend good quality time. I'd imagine a few of you will start to leave the channel for a bit as the season starts. It actually makes me quite sad. I've actually got used to all you guys and girls. Big Rob in chat, he is, mate. We'll definitely talk about that, mate. So we'll just shelve that, park the bus, as it were. And he is on there, but I agree with you. Mackie is a big, big pain in the butt to deal with. He always gets his job done, though. Matula, good day to you, my gorgeous, says, my lovely. How you doing, Matty? GBC, you happy? Mate, I was born happy. Lou, good day, mate. How you doing? It'll be one of them 3. I'll guarantee it. One of them 3 that was in the video today. I'm looking forward to it too, Cole. He's a top G. Big Red, how you doing, mate? Hey, tell you what, J Baggers, look, I'd love them to listen to me. King Shees, hey, I saw your message today. Good to see you. Don't be sad. Hey, I'll try not to be. Hey, do you know what I mean? It won't be the first time. That's clever from Gokan. You know, I was going to make that joke earlier, but then I thought, you know, I better not do in that video. So I just self-depreciated. So welcome, everyone. Bobblehead. Hey, mate, get them bobbleheads ready. Poolside from Sri Lanka, or Ceylon, as it used to be called. Welcome, Luke, mate. Hey, poolside, tell you what. Nice sipping Mai Tais, brother. Hey? I'm stuck here, biscuit ass, not shaved, hair awry, updating a spreadsheet 5 minutes before we go live. What the fuck is going on? G'day, JD. How you doing? Rick. Right, and Gokan must be your dad. Must be my dad. Hey, mate. Oh, mate, it's probably a fake one, but let's get straight into it on the margaritas, mate. I'd fucking go a margarita. Tell you, right, let's do the baby ones. Okay, so straight off the bat this morning, we had a pig swap for points. St Kilda and the Lions. St Kilda sending pick 27 to the Lions for 32 and 45. We've covered this at length, that Brisbane need points for Sammy Marshall. If you say it with a French accent, it makes him sound better. And then, obviously, St Kilda probably 32 and 45 is some kind of, I'd guess, some kind of steak knives in some deal. So, at this moment in time, that means that they've got 2,531 Brisbane have got points, right? So, in reality, we know he's not going to go pick 1. We know Levi Ashcroft's not going to go pick 2. We know he might get to pick 3, but I don't think Carlton will do that, right? So, it means that they can cover bids at this stage 27 and 3, right? If he slides to 4, that means that they can match bids right up for the first round. So that is a very, very, very good trade. For Brisbane, for Saints, they're up to something. 8, they've got 7 and 8, 32, 45, 47. They are having a sniff at something. Big style. They are having a big style sniff at something. All Saints have got to worry about is Adrian Cole. Adrian Cole is a 30 prospect, so they have got so many points for that. This is a great trade, but St Kilda are up to something, mark my words. They're going to be active tomorrow, I reckon, or in the live draft. So let's have a look at it. Tell you what, we'll get a live reaction. Luke's DM me. Was it on Insta or Twitter? Oh, I lied. Oh, Luke, I'm jealous. So Adrian Corr is probably their best prospect, so they've got the points for that. There's a few prospects a bit later. Hoffman, yeah, as you say. Well, where was that? Graham, yeah, Hoffman down there. So they've got more than enough points for them where they are. So it's going to be interesting, but we'll cover what Saints might be up to tomorrow. And don't worry, chat, I'm listening to you as well. We'll be doing them. So these are going to be really, really interesting deals. But that's a straightforward deal. Not really much more to say. Both sides benefit from it, even though it's a 200-point swing in the favour of the Saints. I don't really think it matters. So that's pretty impressive. Are Saints having a crack at Tom Barras? We'll talk about that, but they're up to something. I don't think they go into the draft with 7 and 8. Do you know what I mean? Sonny, you know what? I could see it. But we've got loads to talk about, chat. Loads to talk about. So this is going to be fascinating. Harry Sharp went through. We have got 2 big deals. I'll save them for the end because we need to talk a little bit more about the big deals. But this one is fascinating, this one. Harry Sharp, a future... So Melbourne sent a future third and pick 49. Lions sent Harry Sharp and a future third. So this works out that Brisbane lost this trade by 73 points. It's not often we actually get a good deal in the AFL. So, you know what? Well done, the AFL. It's very rare that we get this. But this is a fascinating deal. Harry Sharp comes into Melbourne, meaning that Melbourne now have 40 on their list. They've got up to 6 picks they can use. They've got 5 and 9 in this draft, though. It's going to be interesting what they do. I would look at pick 9 as something that might be live traded in-house in the draft. That's going to be one that I'm going to be looking at. You asked about Clayton Oliver. That noise has all but died down. Wade Dirksen, that noise has already died down. And that's interesting. So why trade this? This is a great question, Says, and I'm glad you're here. Well, I mean, presumably, if you actually look at like the maths, if you base it on the bookies, Brisbane will have pick 18. Melbourne, at this stage, are ranked to finish 8 from bottom. So that's 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. So about 12, 11. What that does is it gives them more points for Daniel Annabelle next year. So Brisbane actually work out better in that deal. So that's done. When's the deal for Jack Martin? Already been done, mate. Already been done. He signed as a delisted free agent. So that was like a couple of weeks ago. So that's very interesting. So that's why they do that, Says. He slightly gets more points. So if you actually look at it in maths based on next year, it actually works out for Brisbane that they gain 180 points. 180 points, which really does help with the Dan Annabelle deal, because wherever Dan Annabelle goes, that really helps them out, because it means that they've probably got enough picks now to cope with him being top 5 at this stage. So that's why it's just a bit of pre-thinking. Obviously, next year they have a lot more. So that's really interesting. We will definitely talk about pick 3. We did do a big video on it, chat, there. So I'm very disappointed that if you're asking what I think, chat, yeah. Just breaking me out, aren't you? And then we got the big one. So Carlton, Richmond, and West Coast Eagles did a 3-way trade. And this is probably the biggest 3-way bombshell that's hit the news since we started getting details about Diddy's house parties. This is a big one, this one, which also was said at Diddy's parties as well. But Carlton traded Mathew Owens, pick 12, pick 14, and 73. As you can see, 347 is roughly the value that we've ascertained for Mr. Mathew Owens. So that works out roughly about pick 45. Pick 12, pick 14, and 73 is 0 points. Carlton traded that out. Richmond traded Liam Baker. We're valuing him at 803 points, which is roughly the last pick in the first round this year, pick 23. I think that's a fair assessment. And then West Coast traded pick 3, pick 63, and 68. And West Coast got back Liam Baker, Matty Owens, pick 12, and pick 73. I am going to fully caveat this that I have been hard saying West Coast and North Melbourne need to trade art of 2 and 3. Not like this, though. Like, Nick Austin probably needs investigating after this trade because I don't know what he said to West Coast Eagles, but I am telling you right now, me and my big brother used to do this thing where we used to, like, just whisper to my little brother and it used to set him off. I feel like Richmond and Carlton have done that to West Coast and absolutely wound them up to do this trade. Richmond obviously benefit by 358 points, which is pick 45. They got a very good deal. Liam Baker for 14 is probably too good. And Carlton did lose this deal in points if you ascertain a value to Matty Owens. I would say Carlton and Richmond have won this deal by the length of Flemington straight. But that's how it works out in points deal. That makes sense as well. On historically, to get into the top 3, you pay a 20% surcharge. So those eagle-eyed viewers at home will know that pick 3 is 2,200 points. That's roughly 440 points premium. Carlton have probably paid the correct amount, but West Coast have got nothing. So that's going to be very interesting. It's a great deal for Richmond. Richmond now have an incredible draft hand, Richmond do. They have 1, 14, 20, 24, 51, 61, 17, 76. I reckon, based on that, Richmond could probably give fucking North Melbourne 14 and 20 and get picked 2. I don't think it'll happen, but we've just really lowered the value of pick 3. Pick 3, big style. But Carlton get it. Looks like it's going to be Finn. Looks like it's going to be someone like Draper, Sam Layla. All 3 of them are ready to play exactly where Carlton are. So it's really exciting. But I feel like they've really lost. They've really lost that deal, West Coast Eagles. It's going to be interesting, though, because the rumours are circulating that Tom Barrass is going to sign for the Hawks for future picks, which I think this is the draft you've got to target if you're West Coast Eagles. I am very surprised that the West Coast Eagles will do that because I don't think there is any options available to them to trade futures out either now. I think all the clubs that are bringing in picks next year have done their business. So it's going to be really interesting. I actually feel sorry for West Coast. Like, I am laughing that we've won that trade. But trust me, heed these words carefully. If I was West Coast Eagles, I would be smashing the shit out of this office if that was us.
No, you would not. I put this together.
I'd wait till Mrs. Pom goes out, but I would smashing the crap out of this office. Got bullied in VFL. We only played it. Fucking Jesus, VFL. Well, I mean, it wasn't a blinding game, let's be honest, but it was very strong. I mean, he'd only just returned from injuries. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's very harsh. The media are very harsh on this, and they're downplaying this. But I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go mental here. You ready for this? This is the best trade we have seen in AFL, right? This is the best trade we have seen, right? This is the best team, right? So when people are saying he was bullied, you do need to realise he had 6 score involvements and scored 2 goals. Like, he was literally involved in anything. So if that's bullied, that's it. Sonny Spawn, I mean, this could be something that's in future, but I mean, looking at what they've got now, pick 12, pick 26 and 73 in this draft, even if you get Chad Warner next year, it's cooked, brah. Like, it's cooked. Like, I agree, it probably could be. But I'm telling you right now, absolutely, that is absolutely cooked. That is absolutely cooked. Luke with the $7.99, 2026, brother. So we don't have to worry about that. This is a fantastic deal. This is a fantastic deal. So what does this mean for next year's draft? You know what? Come with us. He was banged around in the VFL. Jesus. do you want to tell Dermy that it's not 1980 anymore? Do you know what I mean? It's 2024. Might shock him that, eh? Right, so let's have a look. What does it do for next? Who is the Dustin Martin? There's a few of them. Sam Layla would probably be the closest if you want him. So this is, I think this is next year's. Yes. So this is next year's. Do you know what I mean? This is next year's selections at this stage. So if you look at Carlton don't have any picks, right? But what you've got to look at is Carlton will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2026 and 2027. So should they need to trade into here, looking at clubs here that may want to trade out and push back, Gold Coast, Brisbane will be one to watch as well because they have Dan Annabelle. They've got Zeke Hewland and players like that. There is something really, 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 really interesting, right? Really, really, really interesting going Cook. So Carlton are in a good position. I keep calling this the afterpay trade period. Whatever you spend here, you can push back 2 years. So I don't know if you've ever done a payday loan, but in the UK, we used to do payday loans. And I kept a payday loan going for about 12 years and never paid it back before I came in here because I just kept extending it. And then I quit my job and got a new job. And once that happened and I was in a different industry, I was told I wasn't employed and paid it back £5 a day and they lost the interest. So that's smart. So there you are. There's financial advice with Uncle Pom. Do you know what I mean? Uncle Pom. Highly unethical, though. Don't do it. But remember, if you're ripping off a big financial corporation, no one's hurt. It's all good. It's why celebrities do it. On to the next trade, then, because we've got loads to talk about tonight. So I want to talk about future trades. But up next, Dan Houston finally found a new home. I am so happy. I have not been happier with a trade ever in my life since Will Brodie moved clubs. So I didn't have to hear about Will Brodie, right? I am so excited. I don't have to talk about Dan Houston anymore. Yes! So this was the deal we talked about on Twitter last night. We did speculate Tom Morris was talking a load of shite with his trade. It turned out, and if you watch my trade, I described this trade in Port. Port Adelaide are the scammer that calls your nan, right? To say that she's got a tax bill from 1988. In this deal, the Pies are the cashier that sells the iPhone vouchers, right? And in my opinion, Gold Coast are Apple themselves. And the fact Port turned this down at first is mental. And I'm going to explain why I think Pies won this deal, right? I think the Pies have won this deal, right? Because not only do they trade out 36 of future first, which they don't need because they've already got a top 15 talent in McGuan next year. Joe Richards is worthless in my opinion. And John Noble, I don't agree with my own algorithm. I think John Noble is a later pick than that because I think he's a very good squad player, right? And if you go back to my earlier content, Pies fans hated me because I didn't have Dan Houston in my best 22. I stand by that, right? They got Dan Houston and pick 58, right? Great acquisition for the Pies. When you look at Pies' makeup with how they play football, they have not replaced Nick Dacos leaving halfback flank. They have got a massive upgrade on Nick Dacos as a halfback flanker, considering he's a better midfielder, right? An absolute gem, right? Port Adelaide lose 39-58, Dan Houston the future first, right? They got Jack Lukosius. Now, this is why I think this deal was too good to turn down from Port. Because Port have sold a halfback flanker. Halfback flankers have zero value to a club selling them, in my opinion. You can find them, or look at the good ones. John Dawson signed as an inside midfielder, became a halfback flank. Dan Houston came in as Jack Silvani, a third tall, became a halfback flanker. It's a great acquisition for Pies because it's what they need immediately that they lacked last year. But the price they're putting on Dan Houston, for me, I think 2,000 is a fair value. It's what I'd pay. And I think they've got it in a real good value, Pies. They get Jack Lacocious in there, and I'm huge on Jack Lacocious. Port are helping pay that salary, which I think is really important to understand why that deal's better. Because if you actually factor that into the calculations on price, his price goes up. I'm not knocking Dan Houston. I'm saying halfback flankers are the most commonly found in the draft. You will find them 1 in every 7 picks, statistically. It's not hard to find. But I think for Pies, they haven't paid too much. So Pies have gained this by 417. Port take a knock here, but I don't think it's a knock because I think Jack Lacocious is probably more a mid-first pick in reality. I'm hot on him. They're paying a bit of the salary. They've knocked it off there. But more importantly, they have gained something that no one's talking about. Their hidden missing piece at Magpies. Massive, massive win. Port win this trade. Gold Coast bring in 2 future thirds, which is going to be very bizarre because they're going to have to trade these for next year. So I think it's a very weird deal. Rory Atkins, everyone at Port is complaining about that. I have no idea why Port Adelaide are complaining about that. Like, Rory Atkins is effectively pick 60. You ain't getting a better player at pick 60 than Rory Atkins. This is a great trade for every party, in my opinion, apart from Gold Coast, because Gold Coast have still got work to do. Pies have got the one missing piece in their list, right? In my opinion, right? They've got the one missing piece, and they have... I've just realised that I'm not on screen. Right, why won't that go? Why won't you go? Right, wait a minute. I'm going to try and get that off. Can you see me, chat? Tell me you can see me. There we are. Right, so the Pies have got the missing jigsaw piece that they've lacked. I think Gold Coast, they've got some work to do because there's no way they're going to take 5, 9, and 13 into next year's draft. They're going to trade down. But an absolute huge result for Port. A huge, huge result for the... I think anyone who's saying Port have been ripped in that deal don't understand how good Jack Lacocious is to their system. So I don't get it. I actually think Gold Coast in this situation are your nana. Right? I think on points they've won it, Kai. I just think for me they've still got work to do. But I will say this. All the work now is on Pies to get this right. Great spot by my mate Damo. How are you doing? So they've got to get this. They've got to get this right. But that's a great deal. We've been saying it all along on this show. We don't think he'll go to Carlton. We think he'll go to Port. We can put one into bed. I think well done by Collingwood. Well done by Port. Gold Coast, providing they get some good value for them picks when they have their draftees come through next year. But the problem is with Gold Coast, we know they don't value their picks. But finally, Port made some common sense. I still can't believe they didn't accept that deal yesterday. It's taken 24 hours. But good business all round. I think Collingwood have suited their hole. I think a halfback flanker, when you've got 8 on your list like Port have, that's brilliant for them. I think everyone's a winner in that deal. It's just that they've got a lot of work to do. But main news is Carlton have got a good pick. So let's have a look. Right, let's have a look. So right now, this is, and I've updated this sheet if you want to have a play around. But right now, this is the shape of the top 16. We can see here that is taking shape. It's taking shape. Still a few deals to go. We expect these to go to Richmond. I'd imagine that these are Richmond's picks tomorrow. I'd imagine at some point. I'd imagine that we're going to see some things like that. I'd like to think North can trade this out at some point tomorrow as well. I really would like to see North trade that out. But I'd imagine Richmond take 11 and 18 to that. I'd imagine Ashcroft falls probably around here. I can't see Carlton being dickheads when they've already done a trade with them. No one will take him pick 1 because the AFL is corrupt with father-sons, and North Melbourne, they could do. Do you know what I mean? They could do. But this is going to be really interesting tomorrow. I want you to watch out for these picks here because, as JD says, Richmond will have that. I reckon Richmond are going to have a hot crack at pick 2 tomorrow. I also reckon St Kilda are going to have a hot crack at moving into the picks as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to select 11, Adrian. I meant to select one of them. Sorry, Adrian, to panic your brother. I wouldn't do that to you deliberately. I'm sorry. But that's going to be interesting. I also want you to have a look at Sydney. I do think Sydney may trade one of these picks down with them being linking at going up. So they may look at trying to make a move somewhere. That could be interesting. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, let's have a look at the value of pick 12. So if we do this, right, and then we play this little game, historically, like I said, these top 2 picks are usually times by 20%, right? So you've got to look for that kind of value, right? You've got to look for that kind of value. So let's see who could afford that flat out. So 9 and 10, 7 and 8 gets the deal done, right? That gets the deal done from Saints, right? Which is interesting. Richmond would have 6 and 14, which is just unders. But look what Richmond have got. Richmond have got a plethora of later picks that they could make that a little bit better. So want to keep you an eye out for that one. So there's quite a few that could go down, right? So let's look at some of the trades, right? So we've got here Carlton involved in one. I want to run this deal by you, right? Let's get Jack. I reckon this is one of the deals. I reckon this could be a deal, right? So Matt Kennedy, let's look at his value on my calculator. Let's have a look. So Matt Kennedy is a late second. So we'll take the lower end, right? Let's have a look at this, right? Now, North Melbourne, right, want Caleb Daniel, right? So Caleb Daniel, right, on this calculator, because he's a halfback currently, a little bit less value, right? And then let's look at North. You know what? I reckon you're going to see a deal here. Right? Now, when you do it in a 3 years trade, right, when you do a 3-way trade, genuinely the pick involved depreciates, right? Depreciates. But what do you think about this, right? Because I reckon Carlton can sex it up a little bit with some back-end picks, right? With some back-end picks. So let's just say, right, Carlton said, look, we'll cover River Stevens for you with these 3 picks, right? But let's just say that was the trade, right? So North Melbourne ended up with Caleb Daniel. Carlton ended up with pick 25, right? What do you think of that, chat? What do you think of that trade, right? What do you think of that trade? What do you think of if that happened? What would you say? What would you say if that happened? I reckon you could have some little back-end work. Some back-end work there, right? There's probably some back-end work to be done, right? But that helps break the deadlock, right? Because, and I'll tell you for why. I'll tell you for why that might work. Because Geelong, they're going to lose Bailey Smith, right? They're going to lose Bailey Smith, right? So if they're losing Bailey Smith, they need someone that can play forward and pinch it in the middle. Do you know what I mean? There'd probably be some back end work with some swaps and stuff, but Caleb Daniels valued as a late second, right? Caleb Daniels valued at a late second according to the Bulldogs. I reckon that works from a need basis that Bailey Smith plays that position for Carlton, for the Bulldogs. That they get to have a player ready now that can play forward and spurt through the middle and not have to worry about it. I want to watch that one. Do you know what I mean? I think that could be good. Because then if you had 25, right, do you know what I mean? You could go, let's have a look. Do you know what I mean? You could go Noah Mraz if you wanted a key, Hannaford if you wanted a small, DeTolly. You could go you could go Matt Whitlock. Do you know what I mean? No, I said some back end. Some back end work. Some back end. Some back end. Well, I mean, but you look at Bailey, he's like 50-50 mid-forward, which is better than the 70-30. Do you know what I mean? Innit? Do you get what I'm saying? Cheers for the donation, Luke. Jealous. Do you know what I mean? But what do you think? Like, I reckon it's slightly overs, but there is probably a way that you can back end that. Do you know what I mean? There's a way you can back end that to make it a little bit fairer. Do you know what I mean? You could back end that to make it fair. Do you know what I mean? Like, I look, North have got River Stevens that they're into, and at the moment, look, 62. Like, that would... Look, I'll say this. It's 44 if they don't trade for it, right? If they don't trade too. It's 44. If they trade to, historically, your value goes down on what you expect back, right? I mean, we've done the Pig 2 swaps, but I mean, let's take a look at this with the deals, right? Let's try and get this draft board looking. So Richmond will get pick 6. We'll just do the first round. So Richmond will get pick 6 and pick 23, right? Richmond will get 11 and 18. Dogs will get Geelong's pick, won't they? And there's no other trades to go back, is there? Komodo, thank you, mate. There's no other trades, is there, tomorrow that are involving first rounders? Is there? Do you remember, chat? Is there any others? Sydney aren't linked with anyone. Richmond aren't linked with anyone. Finn O'Sullivan, Layla, we've done Daniel Rioli, 623. Layla, Finn O'Sullivan, Layla, and who else? Oh, Sid Draper. Yeah, Luke Parker will be out of the first round, though, won't it? Would it be? Right? So let's look at that. Right? Based on that, if you're North Melbourne, right, and here's pick 2, right? Richmond fans, I know there's a few of you in chat, so I want your opinions, and I've seen some North guys as well, right? Would you do 11, 14, right? 11, 14, right? And 18. Would you do that trade? Would you do that trade? So look, we'll have a look at it. Right? Right, so that's 200 and... No, it's not. Don't lie to me. Okay. 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 What if you did that? Right? What if you did that? What would you do for that? Or, what are we saying if you kept that and you made it 24 because they've got 23. They've got 25. So what happens if you did this, right? 25 and we did this. Would you do that? So 11 and 14. Do you think 11 and 14? You see, because that's unders, though. Don't you think that's unders, though, chat? Oh, 100% Ken. But don't you think that's unders? 11 and 14? Because look, if you did that, just look at this draft board, though. If you did that, right? So they get 11 and 14. Just look at that. Like, Richmond fans, I'm being serious here. Look at that draft board there. Smiley, Layla, right? Then you could go crazy. You could go like Murphy Reed, Armstrong. Look at that. And North, they're right in the purview of where they need to. Like, North fans, what do you think of that trade? Like, what do you think? That, imagine that. Imagine that. Because look, why it works is North would have that pick. If you threw in 24, North would have that pick. So 24 and 25. For some reason, there's like a weird thing in the AFL. Because you see the AFL when they give picks away. When they give picks away, they always link it up. So like list managers see 24 and 25 and like cream themselves. Right? So let's do this, right? Okay, right. So look, let's play the game, right? I am telling you, if I'm giving up 2, right? If I'm giving up 2, right? You know what? He's my mate in here, Brett. Brett, would you be happy, though, looking at these picks? Like, if I was Richmond, I'd be happy to give all these picks up. Because look, like, if you're going to slide down, if you look at the draft, I'll just show you the draft so we're on the same page. Right? Look, if I'm North Melbourne, and Brett, I'm going to take your word for this because you're a North fan, mate, right? So I don't want to be a dickhead, right? But Jagger Smith, Layla, Harvey Langford, that's Richmond sorted, right? That's Richmond sorted. I don't think Richmond, though, need these types of... North Melbourne need these types of midfielders. I think they need specialist players and a bit of grit. So if they could trade down and get players like Harry Armstrong, Alex Tyree, Murphy Reed maybe, Shanahan, I think that's a huge dub for North. Like a huge dub. If they can bring in them specialist players. Richmond need stars at the moment because they've lost a bucket load. North have done that. Spot on, Colin. Yeah, so if you could get Alex Tyree, Harry Armstrong from this deal, that's better than Jagger Smith or Sam Layla, in my opinion, for you. So that's where I think a bit of value there works. Like, if I was Richmond, I'd do that. Yeah, but I'm not advocating for quantity. I'm actually doing the difference. It's quality of quantity. They don't need an extra mid. Carlton did this for ages. Just kept drafting the same fucking midfielder. That's why we've had to go out and buy pick 3 today. Because when we were in our rebuild, we kept picking the same midfielder. If you do the rebuild right, you spread it over. So I just think right now, if I'm North, I don't want a midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, spot on, Colin. I'm with you. So I'm not actually like, yeah, Mark's nailed it. I just think Alex Tyree, Harry Armstrong, trainer is an absolute better get than a Jagger Smith or a Finn O'Sullivan or a Sam Layla. Yes, better players, but what good is Sam Layla or Jagger Smith if you're playing Dave from the Dog and Duck at key back? It's like when we had a midfield of all these young stars and Sam Rose at fullback. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think for Richmond, like, Richmond need Layla, Finn O'Sullivan, Jagger Smith. They need that. They're at the start of their rebuild. They've lost a load of stars. Just feel like North need them positions. Like, I do, like, honestly, I know Richmond fans disagree. I do that all day because I've got 1, 2, 6. 1, 2, 6. Yeah, spot on. But Steve, next year, they'll be able to get the best midfielder. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if they need to. I'm with you, Brett. Like, I would actually say, because right now, too, if you took Harry Armstrong at pick 2, Brett, I hope you would be like me and you'd go down to North and burn the place down. Like, if we're in the draft right now, North are on the clock, and they take the best key position player, I just think it's mental. It's mental. So you've got to trade down. Like, I'd be with you, Brad. I'd come and pick you up. You could use my torches, and we will go mental together. Like, honestly, I'm telling you right now, like, I would do this. You know what? This is my trade. Here's my POM final offer, right? POM final offer. I'll give you 14, 18, and 20, right? $14, 18, and 20 for pick 2. Right? Right? There you are. And this is what the draft board would look like. Look at that. North would win the trade period. Oh, no, definitely. I mean, look, you could change that. I'd personally do that trade as well. Right? Because no, Stewson, you're right. Look at Richmond. Richmond at the moment, right, can take 6 of these picks, right? They're going to get 2 tomorrow, right? Liam Baker's gone, right? So we can kill him there. Got to stop saying that because it's so harsh, right? They're going to have another. They're probably going to pass 6, right? They've got surplus, right? And they could delist that. But Tiger HQ, you don't want to go too much. Carlton went too hard too early. Like, I think you've done it, right? I think that's the deal there, man. Because West Coast, I actually feel sorry for him. Because Spinks is in there, and I'm sending my love to you, mate. I'm sorry, because it's horrible. Do you know what I mean? It's horrible, right? But, like, you look at West Coast here. I feel like West Coast could have done this. I think they bit too early. Because West Coast here, like, unless they trade a future first, which, I mean, the only way they can get out of this and get back into here is trying to do a future first. Right, let's unsave that, and then I'll reshare it with you. I'll reshare it with you just because I don't want that to override. I just realised I've done that on my main account. But that's going to be fascinating. That is going to be a fascinating one. Because if you look here, that's going to be interesting. I mean, you know, the other club I'd look at, what do we think GW... Would you trade... Nah. That would not be for offer. That would not be up for offer. That would not be up for offer. Right? For me. Now, I'm sticking. So you're going to... So trade back in. Now, Saints have really gone in for Sam Layla, right? They've really gone in for Sam Layla. Sam Layla ain't going to be there. He's going to be gone by this pick max, right? What do you reckon Saints will do, right? Because they've said they traditionally sauce doubles up on picks. Would I move to Perth? Mate, it's a bit more pom weather, isn't it, Perth? Am I right? Oh, mate, Jeff, I wouldn't do it. But West Coast, what do you think West Coast will get for Barras? Let's go and take a look at that because I'm worried about it. And I actually like Sphinx. He's been a big part of this chat. So we've got to give him some love, right? How do we fix this? If I'm West Coast right now, what are we looking for Barras? What are we looking for Barras? Because Hawthorn, what are they going to offer? Like, they've got their future first and future second, and there's no one really that they could trade them to make it better. Yeah, but would you do that? I mean, well, you're going to have to do that, but, like, what would you do with that deal? What would you do with that web deal, though? Like, let's just say, right, let's do it. I love it, right? Let's do it, right? Let's do it. Right? So we'll take these across to West Coast. Right? So you got to remember next year these picks are less in value, right? Less in value. But we've got a first and a second, 25, first, 25, right? So let's say we take this, right? And then we go here, right? Right, and then we go here, and then we go here, and then we've got 1284, right? So looking at this, we could maybe get a pick here, right? Port Adelaide, if we look at their list, right, they desperately need players. They're not going to trade pick 13, right? So we can rule Port out of this calculation, right? Ideally, we need someone stupid in this deal, right? Yeah, we've already traded it to Hawks, so we're doing Hawks have traded their picks, right? Hawks have traded their picks. Future first, right? Let's just say they do this, right? First and a second, because Carlton can't trade any futures, remember. We can't trade any futures. So West Coast, okay, look. Tell you what, Jack, you guys are sticklers, aren't you? Sticklers. Sticklers for the details, aren't you? Keep me on it. Hey, cheers, Komodo, mate. Right. Ideally, we need West Coast to trade West Coast. But, hear me out. Hear me out, right? St Kilda wants Sam Layla, right? Sam Layla's Skonski, right? I reckon if you get Murphy Reid, they can get Murphy Reid at this stage, although Richmond are in a problem. Is that a trade? You know the club I'm looking at here? Right? The club I'm looking at here, hear me out. What if it's Melbourne? What if it's Melbourne? What if it's Melbourne? Melbourne go, right, okay, we get some real hot cracks next year, right? That could be one, right? So they do that. Or Richmond are going to have, what picks are Richmond going to have? They're going to have these picks, right? What happens if it's that pick, right? Pick 11, right? Because then Richmond can use these for futures, right? That kind of looks better, doesn't it? What do we think? Sphinx? Oh, Sphinx. You're right, mate. All right, cool. What do you think? What do you think of that? That could be a trade. Like, I'm not too sure why Hawks would do that, to be honest. I think it's overs, but or Sphinxscapes. What do you think about St Kilda coming in? What about if St Kilda used the battle comp? What about if St Kilda used the battle comp and they came in, and for you guys to even the deal out, you gave maybe not that. That's a bit too much. Maybe you said, "Look, we'll help you out." Jesus, you've got no picks. Don't mind that. He would be grouse at the Eagles. Grouse. Let's have a look at West Coast. So West Coast at the moment, they have got 43 on their list. Luke Edwards looks like he may retire. Witherden, we don't know. He's just a tease, isn't he? Rotham, Bergio and Cully. Well, they've got a D-list. They've got to ideally D-list a few of these. I think if they get 1 and 2, they're back in the top 10 by 2026. Okay. Would that be the most Stephen Silvani thing ever? That would be the most Stephen Silvani thing ever, right? If they did that and that, right? This is brilliant as well. Well done, mate. Well done. You're good at this, by the way. This would be the most Stephen Silvani thing ever to piss Carlton off. This would be. Right? This would be the most Stephen Silvani thing ever. That would be the most Stephen Silvani piss pom off ever, wouldn't it? That would be the most sauce thing ever. That would be the most sauce thing ever to piss us off to get in front of our pick. And then they wouldn't even take a player they want. They'd take Finn O'Sullivan or something. Yeah, I agree, Rokin, but that would be the most sauce thing ever. Do you know what I mean? That would be. I like that. Well done, Woodsford. Wait, he'd probably find out from the recruiters who Carlton want. But it's going to be interesting. West Coast are definitely a watch this space. Because I don't think the Hawthorn deal is there. And I suppose we should finish with the dogs, shouldn't we? Bailey Smith. So Bailey Smith, our value of Bailey Smith is these figures, right? So our value is about a pick 9 of Bailey Smith, right? And obviously, as you can see, right, that it doesn't work. Do you reckon that that's as simple as a future second? Well, you're saying it won't happen, but look at St Kilda's list spots and their picks. It's very intriguing. Do you know what I mean? So, and that works out of their pick because they said a first and a second. So if you take the average second, that's about it. So that is a fascinating trade. I hope I haven't deleted that. Oh, thank God for that. There we are. You should be able to see it again. I was panicking then. I thought I'd that one there. Here we are. So look, you've got this here. Right? And you've got these picks here. So that's going to be really interesting, isn't it? What they do. Much love, Bevton. But what do you think? Tomorrow is going to be a big day. So tomorrow we'll come in here 5 o'clock. Dylan Alexander covers the draft. Is a good one. There is a guy called Lekdog. He's very good as well. Good mate of mine, Daz, is good. What do I reckon? So tomorrow at 5 o'clock we'll be on here. Lekdog's coming 7 o'clock till about 7:30, 8 o'clock. So come on down there. Come on down. We'll cover this. We'll go through the list and stuff like that. I hope it's Sid Draper, but the Finn O'Sullivan noise is gaining steam and there's no smoke without fire in this game. Classic sauce thing. It depends, because if you look at what St Kilda have got, right? If you look at what St Kilda have got, it's not great, is it? It's not great. Because Kemp isn't worth this. And ironically, Kemp at 931 is probably worth pick 19. I'd take that. But we won't get pick 8. Denver Granger Barras. Look, Liam McMahon is a great pickup if Carlton only have 3. If you look at what Carlton selections are, it's not great. Really. It's not great. It's not great. It's not great. So we are going to have to go through the rough. Denver Granger Barras, I'm a big fan of. I think he just needs some love. Alan Footy. I'll check him out, TD. Cheers, brah. Cheers. Would 5 for future first and something else from West Coast. I mean, I think 5 and 9 are perfectly poised for Melbourne because Melbourne probably can get Josh Smiley at 5, and then get Harry Armstrong. And a future first. So what would you be buying from West Coast for that, though, is my question. Now, I'm a big fan. So tomorrow, 5 o'clock till about 7:30, we'll cover all the deals that are left. I reckon Jack Carroll does go tomorrow as well. I don't know how, but I reckon he'll be involved in one of these deals to get them across. Until about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Michael, the Kennedy trade, we already did it. Go back a bit later, but I will see you tomorrow. I'll be here for about 3 hours. So we'll play around, we'll go through them all live. We could do some list analysis together as well, try and get an ascertain. And you know what? We'll do a mock draft together once the trade period's gone, because then we'll have pretty much the list. So that'll be a bit fun. But thank you very much for joining me. Love you all to pieces. It's my favourite time of the evening. Peace, love and light. Pom out.